Okay, so we are live now, and I would like to start with some basic house rules. Please keep your microphones off so that, obviously, for the non-speakers, so that there are no background noises while the workshop is going on. I would request whatever instructions are provided by our um, coordinators and moderators to please obey them so that we have a smooth session. And the links and the hashtags for the festival will be dropped in the chat, so please kindly refer to them if you want to cross post about the event. Also about the live streaming link, that will also be posted in the chat, so please feel free to use them. um, and if you have any questions while the workshop is going on, please put them in the chat, and whenever the moderators would like to pick them, they will go ahead. So now, before I hand it over to Mr. Lawrence, I would like to introduce him and Miss Heather. Mr. Lawrence Ford is the founder and CEO of the Conscious Capital Wealth Management, the founder and chairman of the Future Capital in partnership with the United Nations, a fellow of the World Academy of Art and Sciences, and the author of The Secrets of the Seasons. He was dubbed he was dubbed the shaman of Wall Street by the Washington Post, and the Economist magazine referred to Lawrence as a man of the two words. NPR named him the finance guru, and the Retirement Income Journal dubbed him as the spiritual advisor. He has dedicated much of his life to being a bridge between the modern world of the business and the ancient world of the wisdom, and the nexus of the consciousness and the capital. Welcome, Mr. Lawrence, and welcome, Miss Heather. I hand it over to you now. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for that nice introduction. I'm sorry that's a little bit long. Sometimes we try to work on that, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And it is so nice to be here with all of you. You know, we've got, I think, 90 minutes together, and that's a big investment of your time. And I am really excited about this journey that we're going to go on together. And I really appreciate everybody for being here. Heather, what you got?
All right, well, fantastic. Well, first of all, I'm so excited. You know, Lawrence and I were getting ready and talking yesterday and this morning. And as always, doesn't matter how many I do, I always get a little nervous. I just can feel this like kind of this twing in my belly. We had a video play by Dr. Ash and Drisha before we went live this morning. And it really captured, you know, it's more than a pop movement. You guys are a family, a community, and you can feel it. I actually had this like excitement in my belly. I was like, I can't wait to start. The nervousness went away and I wanted to dance. So we're off to a great start.
Hey, Heather, you can dance.
Nope, no one wants to see that. Nope, we want to keep everyone here. I don't want anyone dropping off. Maybe that's later. That's maybe part two. We'll warm it up a little bit, see where it goes.
It's called the pop movement for a reason.
That's it. I love it. The music and the dance and the feeling, and I love it. Well, this workshop, we are in for quite a treat, like Lawrence said, for the next 90 minutes. Let me tell you exactly what we're doing here. So, Darisha, thank you so much for reading this long introduction of Lawrence. Really, one of the things that gets us up and going in the morning, especially for myself, is the work that we do surrounding the transformational work. And I know that Lawrence had this book, The Secrets of the Seasons. Mine is all worn. I actually had the pleasure of going to the beach, really reading it when it came out. But it really has, it's life-changing. You know, I've been working with Lawrence for 7 years. It's life-changing for myself. It's life-changing for the individuals that read it. And I've seen hundreds of individuals that Lawrence has worked with. Their lives have just been transformed. So it is an honor to be here. Thank you, Dr. Ash, for having us. Darisha, thank you for having us. Thank you all for spending your time today. So today we're going to get into a little bit of the secrets of the seasons. What are those seasons, what they're all about. We'll have a chat with Lawrence. We'll have an opportunity, very collaborative. I love that we have rules. My number one rule is to have fun. If we can make that a number one rule, that's awesome. Very collaborative. We want to hear your voice. Thank you, Lena. Thumbs up. I love it. We're going to get a chance to go out into breakout rooms as well. We'll talk about some tools to help you stay and get and live in fourth season magic. But before we do that, Lawrence, what do you have? I'm going to pass it right back to you, or I can go on. I'm so excited to be here with everyone today.
Good. Well, me too. And so I'll tell you, we've got, I think at this point, you could probably tell that we're very authentic and transparent. That's how we live our lives. And so, we do this for big corporations sometimes. And, we have everything really well scripted, and their HR department reviews everything and all that good stuff. Well, we looked at some of the scripts last night and this morning. We're like, throw this out. We're going to just like go with the flow, go with magic here and have some fun and bring the pieces in when it feels right. So I see these absolutely beautiful smiles here, and it just brings me such joy to be able to share some of the wisdom that I've been able to hold on to and be shared with over my, gosh, I'm 58 now. I feel like I'm like, I was telling Ash, my younger daughter's birthday is today, and I can regress very easily to 10 years old. So I'm sure I'll get in trouble this afternoon at the party as well.
I can confirm that. It happens on a daily basis, folks.
But my linear age says I'm 58. So we'll see what happens here. But, it is a true honor of mine to be here for the Pop Festival and to be asked by Ash to be with you today. And, my world is a little bit different than some others, right? I mean, I live in the world of consciousness and capital, which those two typically don't play together, right? And, we're seeing some of the outcomes today, which you warriors are here working on, which is how we are moving into this delusion that somehow we're separate from each other and separate from our Mother Earth. And, when we're in that mindset of money, 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 and grow, 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 and consumerism, we forget what's important. We forget, our beautiful mother, has put us into our corners for a little bit of a time out here with this pandemic to help us really think about what we've done and where we're going. And it's a very important time. We're going to talk about it. We call it the third season of waking. And we'll get back to that in a minute. But the thing that I really want everybody to take away from this is the one thing that I've learned many things in life, and I continue to learn many things in life. But one of the things that I've learned is the ultimate true wisdom is really simple. It's not a complicated intellectual process. When you truly get pure wisdom that kind of lands into your bones, then it's typically something pretty simple. And you've ever heard the saying, it's when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So it's not really, you could hear something a million times, but you weren't really ready to hear it, right? We all know that place. I still do that. So my message to you today, and what we're going to move into and play with experientially, is our world's got it all wrong. All the people in this external power of Wall Street and money think all this other stuff is our greatest asset. And truly, what I want you to consume as much and as deep down as you can right now in this moment is the truth of reality, which is you and your reason for being here and your special gift that you bring to the world is your greatest asset. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I certainly wasn't taught that in school. And I don't think for the most part, it still happens too much. And it's a travesty. So really today, when we have this conversation together, and when we have this fun breakout stuff, what I'm going to be laying out for you is a fundamentally different way of thinking through life. Fundamentally different. And something that my prayer is that your generation carries through the world so we can live a life of passion and purpose and meaning, and one in harmony and competing together rather than against each other, and loving humanity. And imagine this. So visualize this for a minute. I know, Drisha, you're from India. So, and some other people maybe too, but I love your culture where you could come and you say namaste, right? Which, and I'm probably butchering this a little bit, so forgive me, but the essence of it is what's important is really, I see God in you, right? I see God inside of you, right? How am I doing, Trisha? Good?
Yes.
Okay, good. So imagine with that, just imagine for a minute in your mind's eye that everybody in the world, when they greeted each other with this intention of saying, I know you're here for a reason. And I see that genius in you. And I want to do everything I can while I'm with you to help you fulfill that and see that yourself. I mean, can you imagine a world where we actually did that? And we realized that was truly the greatest asset, to be cultured and to be cultivated and to be nurtured in the world? Because when that happens, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but when that happens, and everybody has experienced this here, when you are on purpose, right? When you're living your reason for being here, right? You can feel it in your bones. You feel it in your soul, right? And you have through that, not only outer purpose, but you have inner purpose and inner peace. You feel good, right? Everybody knows that space. And when you feel good and you have inner peace, and we all do that and honor that in each other, then guess what? We've got world peace. And why the heck not? Right? And that's what you warriors are out here doing, and reminding us that this beautiful, beautiful mother that we sit on, who nurtures us every day without asking for anything, and Father Sky, who rains upon us and the sun comes down to keep us healthy and growing, they never ask. The sun doesn't just shine on some people. It's here for everybody without asking for anything in return. And our mother gives constantly from her roots to us. And so it's this awareness of being, and being in this amazing space, and knowing that you are here for a reason, and honoring that beyond anything throughout your whole life. So we're going to have some fun and play together, but that's my message. If you go now, you'll miss a lot of fun, but you'll have my message. So please don't go. But that's my message to everybody. Heather, what do you got? What do you got for us?
I don't think you've scared anyone off. I think we're all, the number is here. This is perfect. I wanted to piggyback off what you're saying. And my favorite quote, I think it's just perfect before I hand it over, kind of dive in, is there's a purpose to life. Find the light inside of you, feed it, fire it up, and let it shine with abandon throughout the world. It will reflect upon you in ways unimagined. When anyone asks when I'm describing Lawrence or describing the book, give me one quote, give me something. That's what I read. The purpose, our purpose for being here. And like Lawrence said, there's nothing more important than finding that and really magnifying that in the world. So I'm excited to just dive right in a little more to the seasons. And Lawrence, I want to just hand it over. Let's just dive right in, give an overview. And I know we have some visuals, and let's start to play.
Perfect. So
good. Okay.
Good. I would love everybody, since we don't have, 1 million people here today, I think this will work out just fine organically. I'd like each of you to just unmute and just say your name so I can feel you coming into this room with me. We got this crazy, two-dimensional Zoom stuff going on during this pandemic. And I don't know about you guys, but I just can't wait for hugs. So let this be our virtual hug together. So I just would love to hear your spirit and your voice. Say whatever you want, but I just want to hear your name. And if anything is inspired to say something more than that, you just let it rip.
Hello, I'm Ivan, and I'm not sure if you can hear my helicopter. It's the fan of my computer. So every time I talk, you're going to hear that as well. But thank you for this session. I can't wait for it to to keep going.
Welcome, Ivan.
My name is Anna. And yeah, I'm in Mexico City. I'm really happy to be here.
Ah,
Hi, Anna.
hola, Ana.
Hey,
My name's, oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Go
Go ahead, Caroline.
Go ahead. My name's Caroline, and I'm in Lake Tahoe in Nevada. And I'm just really happy to be here today. Yeah, thank you
Awesome.
for holding all this.
Hey,
got it.
everyone. I'm Lena. And Lawrence and Heather, like you said, it's really incredible to see, to feel just a sense of energy, because it is so hard when you are in sort of in a technical communication like this and using this platform. So I'm really excited to be able to feel that on a Saturday morning, and I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. And thank you for allowing me to be here and for your time in advance. And yes, I cannot wait until I can give hugs to everyone again.
I'm Karina. I'm from FXB. I'm now in New York City and just really happy to be here. Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Okay, so I'm Drisha. I'm from India, and I think this is the last session, so it's very important to be happy before we end the festival, the 5-day festival. So yes, I'm happy that we are having this workshop and we with you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for holding the space, Tricia.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm also here in Lake Tahoe. And thank you so much for coming. I'm really excited for this workshop.
Hey, Lauren, how come Carolyn gets to be outside and you're inside?
I know.
I'll tell you, some of my best skiing has been in Tahoe. When you're coming down, the lake's in front of you. Oh my gosh, talk about heaven. It's heavenly, isn't it? Is it the mountain? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we were just there a couple weekends ago, actually.
Oh, fantastic.
So, hi everybody, my name is Salma Macias. I am in La Paz, Mexico, in the Gulf of California area, and I'm very happy and excited to be here. And of course, I miss hugs too.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, I'm a huge hugger, so brace yourself, everyone. And we're not only going to hug when we see, we're going to dance. Okay, here we go. Here's
Hug sentence for everybody.
Okay.
Ria, would you like to say something? Anit.
From Mexico. We have Mexico. We have two Mexico. Patty is with us as well. Patricia Clower. She's also from Mexico. Hi, Patty.
Oh, Patty, hola.
Hola, hola. I'm walking down the street.
If there's a good visual, Patty, just feel free. We would love to see it. Patty has the visual sometimes, or I'll hear the click, 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 the horses or something on the streets.
Hello,
I'm really happy you guys are doing this workshop. I did one yesterday, and this is the most wonderful community. And so I'm really happy to be here with you.
Excellent. And just for all of you, Patty is the one who's connected us through. So if it wasn't for Patty, we wouldn't be here. So thank you, Patty.
You're welcome. Thank you to everyone.
So why don't we get started into the 4 seasons? So let's have where should we start, Heather? What do you think?
Well, if everyone's ready, I would love, you have an amazing video that I think would be really perfect to kick things off. What do you think?
I think
up and diving right in.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, I think that's a great idea if you tell me which one you're thinking. Perfect. So, yeah. So this is great. If everybody has a visual. So what I'd like you to do, I know what you're talking about here. And so what I want everybody to do, and I see that everybody seems to be in a safe place to be doing this for those of you who, Patty, who are walking down the street, or other folks who might be driving or something, don't do it this way because we don't want any accidents. But if you're sitting in a nice, safe space, what I'd like you to do is I'd like to take you on a little journey. And before we do that, I'd like to bring everybody present. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff today. of course, one of the things we'll do is we'll give you the link to my book in the chat window, which is not some cute way of me trying to sell a book. It is something that is the gift of my life that it took me 13 years to actually write, which my wife tells me not to admit in public. But it's really a gift that I've put out there in the world for everybody. So if you feel aligned with what we're doing today, don't feel like we have to get everything in one session here, right? So there's a lot in the book that can follow up on this. The first thing I want to talk to you about is actually being here. And so the ancient wisdom, which I've been so blessed to have such incredible masters teach me in the disciplines of ancient wisdom, and particularly in the world, in the shamanic world, of which I'm initiated in the Tamang tradition, which is a Tibetan form of shamanism. They'll come to many parts of our culture today and they'll look around and watch us. And they'll be aghast because we are, as they say, a land of sleepwalkers. We are going from A to B. And for those of you who, are these next generations coming up, you clearly will have a better picture of this because you haven't perhaps fallen as deeply into the form of what the shamans will call domestication of a culture or the dream of the culture. So you can see it more clearly, right? You're not as deeply in the forest. So you can see the trees from what I'm about to talk about, but incessantly going from work and to home and work into home and work into home in this routine, back and forth with an occasional vacation mixed in to get away from it all, right? And when the clear eyes of the shamans will come and look and see that, the translation is really, we're a land of sleepwalkers. We're literally not here. And that's when you take that in for a moment and just really let that settle, it's a pretty deep statement. We're literally not here. I mean, physically not even touching our feet on Mother Earth and knowing and remembering that we're spinning around on this ball at 1,040 miles an hour and not even conscious of it, right? But in even a more practical way, we're literally not here. Our minds, think about it for a minute, are incessantly usually thinking about something in the future or something in the past. And for them looking at us, it's a very practical thing. It's not as intellectual or esoteric endeavor or conversation. If we're dreaming our world into being, right, collaboratively, and we're not here, then they say, no, well, no wonder you're in such a nightmare. Is everybody tracking with me? So part of the lessons that I'm going to teach today is this ancient tradition called stalking. For you in the next generation is not what you're thinking. So don't worry about it. It's a different thing, but we're going to learn about stalking. That's one of the things that'll be a practical tool that we'll take away from this, that we will help you be here and be fully here. And so perspective of where we are is so important in that process because we can get so lost into that dance of the A to B everyday life, right? So I am going to take Heather's cue and follow your lead here, Heather, and I'm going to bring up a really cool, it's 3 or 5 minutes or something like that. So what I want you to do is go into a dream state of allow yourself to just get comfortable. If everybody just sits back in your chair for a minute, it'll take me a minute to cue it up. So as I cue this up, I want you to take some deep breaths in through your nose and out your mouth. And if you breathe in through your nose, when you breathe in, just visualize bringing in gratitude, whatever that means for you. And exhale anything that you just don't need anymore. Breathing in gratitude and seeing how deep you can breathe that like into your bones. And if you're lucky, you might get one of those, you know, those little chills. So just bring it into your emotions as much as you can about how grateful you are for whatever there is to be grateful for right now. And then just let go with your exhalation of any kind of baggage, any kind of noise that's going on in your life that you don't need now. And you guys go for that. And I will be right back in a minute with this cool video, and I'll tell you when to zone in. Okay, and when you're back, if you want to open your eyes, and since I am blind to you now, I'm going to trust Heather. Are you there with me? Can you see the screen?
I am here with you.
Okay, great. And
And
so,
your welcome screen. That's Lawrence in the cover, Washington Post, right in the middle. This shaman
okay.
head on Wall Street. Go ahead.
And so Heather, you can talk me through volume to make sure that everything's working well. And I am just going to ask everybody to just come on a little ride with me about perspective, about gratitude of being here.
That's it.
Settle in and allow yourself to feel into a new perspective. You're here for a reason. You matter. Love yourself. Align your being with your doing. There is nothing more important than expressing your reason for why you are here. When you do, you are at peace. And the world is at peace. And as our home fades out of view, take this ride together to look back at our home from a new perspective, 1 trillion kilometers out to 1 light year. All the way out to 1 billion light years, 10 billion light years. Take a breath as we begin our journey back home through the cosmic web. Finding our way back, seeing our home off in the distance. It's a beautiful, beautiful place we live, what we call home. And now let's enter the inner universe of our body. for even one moment, if you were to seriously consider the complexity and speed of the chemical reactions going on within each of your body's 75 trillion or so cells, you would be likely bowled over with gratitude for how much is already being done for you through every single cycle of your breath, your ancestors, and deep into the DNA of those who have come before you and before them. All the way in to the nucleus. Deep, deep inside. And now, as we return back up through the smallest to the greatest and see ourselves in this place that we've landed. And speaking of landed, I think, Heather, we're going to roll right into something here that I love to talk about because it's all about perspective of where we are, but we often don't think enough about how we got here. And there's an old wisdom tale that describes the odds of us actually being here like this. Imagine this. Imagine that if there was one life preserver thrown somewhere in the oceans, and if all those oceans of the world that we have were all put together in one ocean, and in the middle of that, one life preserver was thrown out into the middle at random, and that there was exactly one turtle in the middle of all of these oceans, swimming underwater somewhere. And that turtle, again at random, without seeing the life preserver, and one try popped its head up and came into the middle of that life preserver. Well, that's the old wisdom tale that talks about the probability that you're here, that you were born. That turtle sticking its head out with one try in the middle of all oceans. And as you can imagine, as being a man of two worlds, as was introduced to me at the beginning, in the world of finance and spirit and consciousness, I tend to like to check facts. So I did some math. And in that math, there's a lot here, so I won't bore you with it, but I will tell you that the odds are a lot bigger than even that. The odds of you being born are much more like, think about this for a minute after I did the math, it's more like 2.5 million people getting together. It's about the population of Chicago. And they decided to each play a game of dice with a trillion-sided dice. So each of them had a trillion-sided dice that they decided to play a game, and they each rolled that dice. Again, the population of Chicago, all each having a trillion-sided dice, and they each throw that dice, and they all come up with the exact same number. And so the gift of you being here is absolutely extraordinary and one never, ever to be taken for granted. So I'm back. And it's nice to see you are all back here. And I don't know about you guys, but man, every time that I do that, it blows my mind because we take so much for granted. But wow, what a gift of each of us being here on this planet. Each of us, our mothers and fathers, just happening to find each other and to nurture us to where we are today, to be able to give our gifts back in this world. So that's a pretty good start, I think, Heather and everybody here, to like kind of land us about, gosh, we're here for a reason. Now let's talk about how we live that to the maximum. And I'd love to talk to you through the 4 seasons a little bit to ground you. And then we're going to have some really cool experiential breakouts where we can share with each other. And then I'm going to give you some really practical tools that have been handed down to me from some of the masters around the world to be able to practice in your life, to do your best to be there for yourself and for others, to give your gift back. So Heather, what do you got? Talk to me. Where are we at? Where should we go?
I think it's absolutely perfect. I think with the videos and then the turtle, which it's one of my favorite videos. I get all excited when I see the turtle come up on the screen. I think it's perfect timing with the turtle to kind of dive in, start with season 1. Let's talk about it a little bit and flow right through season 2 and 3 and 4 to kind of ground us. And then let's do the breakout rooms. Like you said, let's roll up our sleeves.
And I think what we'll do is, I'm going to frame these 4 seasons for you. So think about 4 seasons that we're going to go through. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get very practical in a couple of the seasons and work through some exercises as to how to maximize your life in those seasons. So when I talk about the 4 seasons of life, the first thing I want to say is that they're not linear, right? Just like the seasons in our world, they come and go. And this happens through our lives, right? Different seasons come and go. So understand that, number 1. And number 2, there's really not, necessarily a hierarchy of like, you're so much better in one season versus another, because we're so used to living in the world of grades and competition. So as much as you can think about that, I'd like you to let go of some of that judgment about where you might be or what's happening while you're in that season. So let's jump right in. So season number 1. And season number 1 is when you're, so I'm going to use some language that please let go of if it brings up any dogmas for you or any thoughts about things that you might think differently. It's just the ability to communicate in language has significant limitations because it's only an expression of a consciousness from where we've come as a species. So I'm doing my best to give you that communication. So if something tweaks you a little bit, just roll through it. It's just my work to give us the languaging to give us the best expression, which is the way I do it from being me, right? So you will attach that to you the best way it works. So season number 1, that's my disclaimer. So now I can go for it.
Okay. Well done, disclaimer.
Good. So season number 1, here we go. Season number 1 is when the soul comes into the skin and bones and it says, where the heck am I? We're born and your soul says, what the heck is this dimension? What is this reality? Where am I? If you think that's a little too far out there, let's go to some science. Let's go to some psychology about that, right? So at age 18 months, we know the child for the first time recognizes itself as itself, right? The self-actualization, right? We all know that. That famous experiment when they put the rouge on the child's forehead and have them look in a mirror, and up to 18 months, the child points at the mirror. Then at 18 months, they get this awareness that, oh, that's me. And they point to themselves with a rouge on their forehead. So that's one expression in our left brain scientific catching up with some of the spiritual wisdom of the world of what I'm trying to express here. So season number 1 is the soul comes in and goes, what the heck is this reality? Okay, what are we doing here? Cool, I'm hopefully being a little bit nurtured so I can grow, which all of us were blessed to get to this place, regardless of our circumstances through that time. Whatever may or may not have happened, at least it was enough to bring us to where we are today. Season number 2 is the season of doing, right? It's what we talked about. A to B, A to B, all the working out there. Essentially what's happening in season number 2 for most of us, not you guys after this call today and after this workshop, but for most of us, it's an unconscious attempt to align our being with our doing. Season number 2 for most of our species is an unconscious attempt at aligning our being with our doing. So we're out there in the world trying different things, going to different courses, getting different degrees, seeing which ones fit, which ones don't. The problem is most of us are doing that unconsciously, not with that deep awareness of your greatest asset is you. And you have one simple job to do while you're on this earth. And that is to align your being with your doing. When you do, you make beautiful music. Beautiful music. When you don't, not so much. There's this dissonance, right? So I see with my gifts, my art is that from my shamanic gifts, I see each individual soul as this snowflake with a pattern with no two alike that sings this song, this resonance. And when they're doing things out in the world that resonate with their being, there's resonance. When not, there's this discord. It's like this music that's out of tune. And whenever we listen to music out of tune, our spirits and our beings know intuitively. Nobody told us what the rules were of what's in tune and what's not, right? But we know it when we hear it. Trust me, if you ever want, I could demonstrate if I tried to play an instrument for you right now, I guarantee you. But we know, I won't do that to you. But we know what that is, right? We know what it feels like in our body. Well, that's the same thing about our being and our doing. So our simple task in life is to go out and play and enjoy and try consciously to see where our being and doing comes together. Good? Season number 3 is the season of getting our butts kicked. And officially, that's not what I call it in the book. It's called the season of waking, where something comes upon us in our life. Some event. Maybe your parents got divorced. Maybe there was a tough childhood for yourself in some other way. Maybe it was when one of your grandparents or friends died. Maybe it was just something. Maybe it was something even more subtle, right? It doesn't have to be so dramatic, but maybe it was something more subtle that came to you and just rocked your world and really gave you a timeout. Now, what's happening now? Our mother, the wisdom of our mother has given us a timeout with this global pandemic. Sometimes the third season waking has to be so profound that we all get it together so that we can wake up and realize what we're doing and how we're destroying ourselves and so many species while we're misaligned with ourselves. So that's the season of waking. The season of waking, what I want everybody to really see if you can feel this in your bones. One of my dear masters says, lift the bandage, it's where the light enters. Or you might have heard saying, the bone is stronger where it's broken, where it was broken, when it mends together. So in these third seasons, that you are being given this gift, which is, and stick with me here for a minute, not that anybody deserves the bad stuff in life, so don't go there. But whatever you're given makes you stronger for who you're going to be and what you're here for. It's not by mistake. So for me personally, when I was born, I was given up and had a really tough 6 months before I was adopted by this amazing, beautiful family. And I remember, which I know sounds strange, but I remember going back to prior to 6 months and being in the hospital near death and knowing that I was here for a reason and that I chose to live. So for me, that's clearly an incredible gift because it's how I've been living my life and what I share with others. Now, I wouldn't wish that type of trauma on any other infant, but I wouldn't trade that experience for one moment for myself. Make sense? Heather, should we pause on this? Let's pause before we get to fourth season.
Yeah, when I hear you speak, can you talk a little bit about or expand a little bit? In the book, you mentioned something which I really love called hotspots.
Yeah.
Which I think is really great because it's easy to be able to identify, right? That like in the moment, that thing that has just shaken you to your core. But how do we bridge, right, between 3 and 4? And I love what you say, conspiring for us, right? The world is not conspiring against us, or it's happening to us. So with that kind of, you talk about hotspots and the conspiring for us. It's a really great message.
Yeah, thanks. So it's, as we move through, so it's kind of like being shaken from our slumber, right? When we go through a third season, it's like, oh. And sometimes you're shaken so hard that you are literally awake. And you might have heard of spiritual teachers who speak of this. Again, this was gifted to me later in life, where I was shaken so hard that I literally could see everything. That my rational mind transcended everyday mundane consciousness. I moved out of time. It's the work I do when I coach individuals and companies and move them deeper into their power and purpose. Is part of my gift is I shift to a different consciousness. But when I was shaken that way, it wasn't like a choice while I was working with somebody. It was everything was busted open. And that can be very shocking. So I wanted to say that first. The other thing I want to say, Heather, with the hotspots is I call, it's like when you can live life this way, it's not like things are all perfect and there's, rainbows and kittens everywhere, right? When we get to the fourth season, which we'll talk about in a minute. But man, everything shifts. Your whole perspective of the world can shift. It's like you're on this big scavenger hunt your whole life, and you're looking for visible and invisible signs that support you and guide you towards your being and your alignment with your doing. Making sense? So we get a lot of help. We get a lot of help from our angels in the physical form, like our parents and our friends. We also get help, I believe deeply, because I've experienced so much in the invisible world. So when you're fully awake, you can be aware and present to all of those things. Now, breaking that down to what I call hotspots is there are times in our life, and I want everybody to experience this for a moment. So let's all just take a couple deep breaths. And I want you to think about a time in your life where you keep coming back to for some reason, something that happened to you. And most of you got it right there. Right? It's something in your life. It may not be that profound. It may be as simple as like, the smell of your grandpa's jacket or something when you would sit with him, or something that comes through your being. There's a hot spot. When hot spots happen to you, they often don't make a lot of rational sense. Sometimes they do if they're profound enough. Like, I got in a car accident and that moment was a big one for me. But other times they're more subtle. And what you want to do when those things happen, you can either keep a journal of this, or you can just kind of put this imaginary flag in the ground of saying, interesting, this is a hint. It's a hint. One of the examples for me was when I was in college and I went for a sailing trip in the summer in the Caribbean. And I was like, I had never been down there before. I never even knew a land like that existed. And something, beyond just the beautiful beauty of the islands, something in my soul went, boom, this is profound for you, man. Whatever this is, I had no context back then of what was happening. Something came through me deeply, and I knew it was meaningful. Fast track to a whole bunch of years ago, I did one of the hardest things in my life, and I surrendered, and we moved to the islands, to a very small island for 5 years, and it changed the trajectory of my life. And so that's an example of how things can sit right and guide you in the future if you pay attention to those. So I think, Heather, we should probably, why don't we move into a little bit more of a breakout here and move into some more experiential stuff.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. What do you say, you guys? Breakout? Want to go and dive in and roll up our sleeves and get cracking? Okay.
Heather, you choose. Where do we go? What do we do? We got a lot of tools in our bag. Which ones do we want to throw out there for some conversation here?
Yeah, I would love, I think, and challenge me if you think something is better, why don't we go in and kind of, now that we're on 3rd season and we're diving in, we're talking about hotspots, we're talking about some undercurrents that are coming up, or some, significant events that are coming up. Why don't we go ahead and break out? We'll break you out into groups of 2. Please keep it as anonymous. I know it's a small group, as you'd like. And really kind of talk about 3rd season, an event that has come up. Now, the good news is this, a couple things, okay? You can share or not share. It's not required. Be comfortable with it. And no one knows who you're breaking out with. So what I thought was we could break out into groups of 2, talk about something that's come up in our 3rd season that's really affected us, and then come back and let's do a little sharing. Let's open up as a group and share with each other. But again, not all of you have to share. And go ahead, Lawrence. I could feel you have something to add to that.
Nope.
No?
Good. You're right on.
Like
Perfect.
It. Is it good?
I'm excited. I was going to say to Drisha, just from a operational point of view, I don't see on my dashboard yet the ability for breakout rooms, and so that's okay. You can do it. If you need to drive from your side, or do you need to give me a little ability?
Yeah, so I will make you the host, but I would request you to make me the co-host as soon as I make you the host. Is that okay?
I promise.
Perfect. And if all of you don't follow that, I am not in charge of this technology piece, just to bring everyone up to speed really quick.
I will make sure that I do not mess up in the meantime, because I know that now I have the power, Drisha. So
okay, great.
I'm going to make you co-host right now. Hold on.
Breakout room option.
I'm going to make you co-host.
Fantastic. And while they get the technical stuff in the background, thank goodness it's not in my hands, all straightened out for us, let's talk about time. We're going to go into the breakout room for 7 minutes. Why don't we do 1 minute of just quick introduction, and then 3 minutes each of sharing. We'll come in halfway, no worries, and we'll say, switch, and the switch is kind of switching. Okay, but feel free, whatever, go with the flow, let it happen. Feel free, however you feel comfortable in those 2. And then we'll warn you like a minute left or 30 seconds left to come back. So no one has to keep track of time. We're going to put that in the hands of Lawrence. Is that all right?
And listen, if something doesn't, if you can't think of something right away, or you have something that is maybe just too intimate that you don't feel like sharing, then what I would like you to do is I'd like you could use, what happened. I mean, we're all in the midst of a 3rd season now anyway, right? With COVID, in this pandemic. So you can always talk about what's come up for you during the pandemic, right? What shifted for you during the pandemic. So I am going to do a breakout. It looks like we're going to have 6 rooms. And so we're going to have one-on-one. If you're with someone who can't participate or something, just let us know, but we'll kind of poke around in different rooms. And if you do have the ability to share your video when you break into the room, that would be helpful. But if you don't have the bandwidth, please feel free, just to talk to your partner. So go have fun. Any questions? All right, go get them.
We'll see you soon.
Just checking some stuff here.
We're all still here, Lawrence, just to let you know.
Yeah, no, I know you are. Yep. I'm gonna recreate this a little bit. Hold on.
This is where I get to have a little fun with Lawrence about the technology piece. He's really good at technology.
All right, now we
Here
go.
Hands up.
Let me just see who's going with who. This is working perfectly. Heather, I'm sending you off too. You're going.
You are? All right,
I
let's
won't
go. I'll
stop.
play.
See you later. You'll see a little thing there to click to welcome to join. And when you come back, you click the right one. Hello, Ash. Welcome back.
Lawrence, I always feel the timing is perfect and there's not enough timing and it's just perfect. And we were all in the middle of just chatting.
I know I added an extra person to your group.
Love it. It was a great surprise. It's fantastic.
All right, Heather, take it away.
Fantastic. So now that we've all broken out into our groups, what we thought would be best would be to come back and to share. So, some rules as well. No one knows who they were broken out with. How we usually structure this is we'll share someone else's story without saying who it was, and we'll just share with that. So does anyone feel comfortable sharing someone else's story? I'll start. I can start. I was in a room with two amazing individuals, and I'll tell you, it's really wild to actually be in the groups and to see the perception from the leap almost from third season to fourth season in the blessing and beauty and things. The individual that I was in the room with had some medical issues that popped up at a young age that almost debilitated for 3 years. In the medical issues, and quickly going through that without the next breath was talking about the individuals that she met and the blessings that came from that and the experience of that and the sheer wisdom of that. The other individual that I was in the room with shared a tragedy that happened 12 years ago in the loss of her father. And the loss of her father's and the boards that she was taking at that time. And she had to make a decision whether it would debilitate her or whether she would strive forward. And she said such beautiful wisdom that gave me chills. And I didn't want to interrupt her when she was speaking, but that she said, he's always with me. He's my mentor. He's with me every day. I dream of him every day. And every decision he is expressed in my daily actions and decisions. So it was so beautiful to have this kind of the blessing shown. That was my group. Does anyone feel comfortable sharing something they experienced in their group in their time? Lena, I see you unmuting.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. The individual that I was with had various things, I think, going through their mind and their life, and it's sometimes hard to choose just one moment. And as we carried out our conversation, this individual was explaining their experience that they had when they had decided to go out to a country to experience life by themselves, and how much living and doing things by themselves changed their perspective. They had an immense amount of growth. They also had the ability to meet new people, and it was just how profound and how incredible that experience was for them. And that, in this case, it wasn't a trauma, a tragedy or so, but at the same time, it brought so many incredible things along the way. And as I spoke with this individual, I said that I could sense it. I could sense it through this pop festival, the way that when we have in what is it called, in participated or heard or whatnot, I could see it. And I was very lucky to have the chance to be with this person one-on-one, because I could see the maturity, I could see the growth, I could see everything and their passion into what they poured to. So it was just incredible to hear the story and how they went to a country, halfway across the world, and they just did it to experience. So I was
That's amazing.
Very, very amazed.
Awesome. And so this is a perfect example of two different things, right? I mean, one can feel like a tragedy, the other is more of an opportunity, but they're all opportunities, and they're things to look at in our lives as gifts. And believe me, I know when they're upon us, they don't feel that way. And it's, again, not a judgment of that whether we deserve them or not, but the experience itself makes us stronger for our gifts. That's a fact. I'm going to keep us moving because I can't believe the clock here. We're getting close. We've only got 15 minutes left. So I'm going to break us out to another group, and I'm going to give you a little turbo exercise. I'm going to explain the fourth season really fast. So fourth season is kind of when you're in the flow. Okay. So athletes in the flow, in the zone, right? You might have, there's a wonderful term called Wu Wei Wu, which is this Taoist term that literally means doing, not doing in that discipline. It's like the space between the notes that make the song. Okay. It's this empty space of magic, things that come to you in your life. So a time when something came to you in your life that was like magical or out of the blue or some kind of sign, something. I'm going to put you guys in rooms right away. We're going to do it a lot quicker so we can come back and share. And then I want one more thing to share with you at the end. We ready to go? Any
Speed
questions?
lightning. I love it. All right.
All right, let's rock and roll. Goodbye.
See you in a few.
I'll give you all the timing coming back, okay? 2 minutes each.
Thank you, Lawrence.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. How'd we do? Find some magic? Outstanding. Who goes first? Let's do some quick sharing. Anna.
I can go. So the person I was with in my breakout room, we discussed a couple of things, but I think it was cool because both of us were like, oh, that has happened to me, So like we started talking about how sometimes in school assignments, or like when you're preparing a presentation, and there's just times where everything clicks and you're just like getting a ton of ideas and everything's flowing well. And then she was also talking about how in the sport she does, there are some times that when she just feels like she's 100% into it, like in the middle of the sport, and it just like flows perfectly. So it was a nice conversation.
Beautiful. That reminds me of something really funny. When we were doing one of these, I talked about what my Tai Chi master taught me many, many years ago. He said to me, remember this story, Heather? He's like, don't ever forget what the word effortless begins with. And we had somebody in the audience and they said, E. it's effort.
They were true though. They were right. It does start with E. Yes.
Yeah, it's like, when you put all that work in and then you're just in the flow in the zone, that's an awesome place to be. Who else?
Ivan, would you like to go next?
Okay, so the first part was like she helping me to realize a little bit more about the depths of the exercise, and she was telling me that sometimes she was like presenting or like that there was a presentation, but then she started like feeling all how the people started like being so excited and so amazed by the presentation, and this just gave her like a boost and this feeling of empowerment and I don't know, fulfillment. That's something that spark in her eyes when she was telling me that. It was so inspiring to me as well.
Ah, beautiful.
Okay, next. Lokesh, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. I was talking to this beautiful person, and she told me how because how she had been in an medical situation around some 13 years back, and how she fought with it, how people around her, her relatives, and everyone, helped her be brave and fight that situation because she was in a hospital for 3 years, and I felt that that was a very long time. I have been in the home around 2 months for lockdown, and I felt that, man, that is so much. I needed to go out, but being in a hospital and fighting for everything, that was kind of a magic for her. That was her fourth season, so that actually inspired me a lot.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Okay. Should I invite someone? Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Salma?
Yes, with the other person, we talk about when people.
I think
people and they push you up to get out of your comfort zone, and they give you like magic to the life because you could feel the good vibes and get like new habits that get you well, that push you up in life.
Beautiful. Okay, Lauren and Caroline, I'm not letting you guys escape. Smiley faces out there in Tahoe.
Yeah, so when we talked, it was kind of about like when something happens and then everything just lines up, like when everything's down and then you want something to happen, like I guess kind of when you want something to happen and then just everything else comes in line with it. It's like working on a project or like mostly working on a project, or when you start a new job or something, and then just everything tends to work out. Like another person jumps on board with it, and then another group jumps on board, and then it just all
It's just
seems
like
to
the
work out.
stars kind of align and everything just like falls into place. And it's just like a really amazing feeling because it seems like it was just all meant to be.
That is so beautiful. It's so perfect. And it's one of the things I wanted to make sure that I got across before we left each other today too, is that when you are, so you know that like awful phrase that says misery loves company, right? So it's the exact opposite too. So it's like when you're in the zone and you're vibrating, we're putting out this ethereal energy out into the world to manifest. And there's a signal that goes out. It's more than just our body position. It's more than just body mechanics. There's energy that gets moved out into the universe. And the universe says, oh, really? Okay, nice. Here you go. You want that? You want that? You want that? Here you go. And that's true manifestation, right? When something's, it's not like, you read a lot of new age books and stuff, and they say, you can manifest anything you want in your life, blah, 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 blah. I don't know about that. I think when something is true for you and true for your soul, like we talked about at the beginning, and you're aligning your doing with your being, then you put out this tune out into the universe and the right people show up and the right things fall into line. And just like you guys were saying, the stars align, right? And things come together. That's the magic that you pay attention to, right? When you're out there and you're really going through that second season and you're doing that to really work to explore what you're supposed to do in this world and fine tune it. It's not about being perfect. I mean, if you don't make mistakes, you don't know where you don't fit. Gosh knows I've done a lot of those in my life, right? And it's like, yuck, that didn't feel good. Why did I work on that for 3 years, dummy? Okay, well, I guess I had to learn that lesson. And you know what? In learning that lesson, there were people that I met that helped get me to where I was going. So the other thing I want to say to you guys is that also be kind to yourself, right? Give yourself compassion and love. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Humor is a great thing. I mean, my goodness, we have enough content around us for plenty of humor with the things that we mess up. And sometimes they don't seem so funny, but if you don't laugh, you go crazy. And so just lighten up, have fun. I got to say that this has been such a gift for me today to just feel into these beautiful souls on this screen. I mean, and I'm not saying this just because for people who know me, I don't say things for people to like me or be nice. I'm a kind person. I don't say things to be nice. There's a difference there. I'm saying this because it's who I am. And when I feel into each one of your souls here in this screen, I am so honored that we were able to spend this time with you to do a little bit to help you move more into your power and in your life, because I know that we're all going to benefit from it. And I really thank all of you for being you and for having the courage to continue to be you. I know that if you want to learn more, do check out the book. I put it in the chat for everybody. So if you want to just click on there so you have the access to that. If you do want to learn more, of course, don't feel pressured if it didn't resonate, but just go ahead and grab that so you have it now. And I wish all of you the best. I know that this won't be the last time because, this is how it works, right? Our tribe finds each other and we're out there doing good work in the world, and we can't stay apart even if we tried to. And that big Heather hug is coming.
Brace yourselves, I'll tell you that. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to be with all of you, like Lawrence said, for the past hour and a half. Ash, Darshita, thank you so much for the pop movement, the pop family. I would be remiss to let you know, I'm going to throw in chat, Dr. Ash is actually presenting on our Wednesday call with the work we do with the United Nations. It's called futureofcapital.org. He's presenting. Please, it's a personal invitation to all of you if you're available. It's 10 a.m. Eastern, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. I popped up the Zoom link. So please feel free to join us. We would love to have you, Lawrence.
And feel free to share that with your friends too. Just share it out on social media, Facebook, because we need more of the youth coming. This is where we're doing work in making capital and capital markets and all of this stuff that can seem overwhelming and like it doesn't fit. You bet it fits, because we need all of you involved with this. And Ash and I are having some wonderful conversations about how we can continue to make this more. So please share with your community, bring it on in. We're going to have a lot of fun. There's some really cool speakers that are coming out, including, of course, Dr. Pachuri.
I love how you say you two are having fun. I think you two are up to like cooking some trouble up. I love it. We can't wait to see what you guys cook up. Well, as tradition, I would love to exit our meeting. Lawrence, what do you think? In a moment of silence to honor our time here. We do this with some of our meetings, that we literally sit in silence and you drop off when you feel comfortable.
Or directions from Risha or Ash. What comes next for everybody so we don't mess things up too bad?
Please. This is me trying to behave here. Thank you.
I think Dr. Ash wants to say something, but before he says something, I want to say that after this session, I feel like telling Dr. Ash that please don't end this festival. We want to attend more such workshops. Thank you so much.
Our honor.
Thank you. And I just want to convey my thanks. And I want to say that, Drisha, your wish is welcome true, because I think that, when you're surrounded with by and embraced with this this wisdom, enlightenment, this beautiful spirit of love and compassion and connection, it goes nowhere, because it's really something that resides in your heart. And once it's there, it's only going to grow. And when it grows, just like we heard a minute ago, no matter where you go in your life, no matter what you do in your life, you're going to share it. And the more you share it, the more it's going to grow. So I think that this is, this is something that's not going to leave us. We're very much we're already part of that very special community, the Conscious Capital community. And all I'm going to say is that with everything we do, and we could call it issues of health and development and gender and climate and education and everything, no matter what we do, it's going to take this kind of consciousness, and it's going to take this kind of goodness, and it's going to take this kind of kindness, and it's going to take this kind of love, and so let it just grow. And I'm going to say a big thank you for this incredible opportunity today and forever. Thank you so much, Lawrence, Heather, the Conscious Capital community. And I just wanted to say, no matter where we go, it could be a social enterprise, it could be a big conglomerate, it could be an NGO, it could be a network, it could be anything. It could be just part of a network or community. We just have to let this light shine brighter, and that light is inside, it's within, and the peace is within. And this has just been absolutely fantastic. I just want to say a big thank you. I can't wait to see you again, and let's have that conversation and many more. Lawrence and like Heather's gonna get nervous maybe, but let's just, she's already nervous. But I just want to say, no, really, I'm so looking forward to this, and it's the start of something special, great, and forever. So, and good. And that goodness is just going to continue to grow, and all of you have it. Everybody here has it. So we already a family, and we're already a community. And I just want to say that this is a very special moment. We'll savor forever. And this is, yes, we need to have many more young people, and that's what's going to make it last till the end of time, right? So thank you so much. And Heather, many thanks.
Oh, Dr. Ash, many thanks to you. Mwah. Oh.
To you. Thank you.
Lawrence, a few words before we go in and go out.
I got nothing.
Okay. That was a couple words, so that's perfect. Okay.
Oh, wait, I have one word for Lauren and Carolyn. I saw your mom poking her head in there. Do me a favor, tell her nice job. There she is.
Hey, Susan. Oh,
I just
and
asked.
here's, by the way, more hugging. Our hugging family is growing, by leaps and bounds, and we're so blessed for it.
Oh,
Hey, Derek.
fantastic.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
This is very
I'll
special.
take a picture.
Yes, let's get that picture. Say hey. So good to
The
see
dogs are
you.
here
And a
too.
big hug.
And the dog.
And a dog. Yes.
Talk there, Mr. Ford. It was inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was on the fringe here, and Caroline kept saying, "Well, come on, sit in." I'm like, "No."
Nice.
What a fantastic way to end these 5 days with just something so spiritual and for all of us to think of, and just fantastic
Well,
for
just
these
keep it
girls
going,
at
keep
this
it going.
age to take advantage of that kind of knowledge.
Oh,
And
yeah. Extraordinary. Yeah. And I didn't mean that lightly when I said that to mom and dad. Sorry, Dad. I didn't know you were hanging around too.
we were in and out.
All right. Good. Well done.
Pushing them forward. Thank you,
Okay, love
Ad.
to all of you.
Thank you. And lots of love and a big, big, big hug.
Big hug.
Big
So
hug.
good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
And this is not the end,
Derek.
folks. This is the beginning. This is not the end. This is the beginning of the
Absolutely.
conversation, and let the love
Absolutely.
expand. Well, blessings and hugs to all of you. I am so
Thank
excited. I
you.
don't even know if I could do a moment of silence, but I'm dancing around in the soul. So thank you guys so much. Mwah. Big hug and blessings to everyone.
Teresa,
Bye, everyone.
Do I need to resign
Thank
as
you.
co-host so I don't mess things up, or are we good?
No, you can.
Safe.
All right, everyone. Blessings. Have a great day.
Have a beautiful day. Thank you for
Lots
all
of
the
love.
work you do.
Take care.
Lots of love, lots of hugs, lots of blessings. And I agree with Heather. I always, and that's why we've called today the first day of our future, because it's not the closing. It's the first day of the rest of our lives. So here we go. Thank you.
Go be you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Take care.
Bye. Thank you. Take care. Stay safe.
You too.
Yeah.
I think before we end this, we should say Movimiento Pop. You're on mute.